So just to get to like the nuts and the bolts of it. So you have this type of footage. And you know, when you use a chroma key, usually it's blue or green because like green isn't in a lot of skin tone. So usually, you know, when you're chroma keying something out, you're chroma keying like people out. And by using a background that's green, you don't have to worry about the skin tone that much. So that's why you have that. So I actually already, I'm gonna go in here and try to delete this. Yeah, so that's easy. But what you do basically to apply any of these effects is, you know, you come up here, which I think you're familiar with, right? You come up to the, get out of my way, the little effect window, right here, and then it pulls up this drop-down menu.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's all kinds of stuff, but keying is kind of what we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
I was actually using the color key.
Color key, yeah.
But this tutorial that I put in the document, it references the ultra key, so I'm just gonna check that one out now.
You said which one?
The ultra key.
Ultra.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, they both do the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Aisha. So yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, I kind of just used the color key on the last one, but you can use the ultra key too. Hi Aisha. Oh, I guess you're connecting.
Oh, wait. I'm gonna turn the light on real quick.
Okay.
But you said chroma key, read that one. Or
yeah.
alpha channel. Okay.
Chroma key.
All right, chroma key or keying is a technique by which a block of a particular color, often blue or green, in a video image can be replaced either by another color or image, enabling, for example, a weather forecaster to appear against the background of a computer-generated weather map.
I've seen that done before, like on the news, like stand in front of the screen and something else comes up. I've seen that. You see that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's like, and I was saying that as Zen before, like the reason that they generally use like green or blue, it's because those tones aren't in human skin as much as like red or orange or yellow.
Or blue or yellow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even blue is not really the ideal color to do.
Unless you're like super freaking dark, then maybe.
But yeah, like green is really the best. Blue is kind of second runner up. I forget, there's some.
Oh yeah, duh, blue is, yeah, sorry.
There's some, I forget, I learned once what the reason was. If you're interested, I guess you can like Google it or whatever, but I feel like it's like, oh, for this kind of scenario, like they prefer to use blue or whatever.
No, yeah. So I've seen them do the blue for like movies. Like, do they do that like for CGI or something, or probably not, because CGI is like completely different.
Maybe that's what it is, though. It's like if they're gonna do the suits, what do they call that? Rotoscoping, when they put all the little
like for video games. Yeah.
I think they do tend to use blue a lot for that.
Yeah.
Like sci-fi movies too and stuff like that, where you like,
listen.
Or like when they go into space and stuff like that. A lot of like heavy Disney movies do that. They're Marvel films, they do stuff like that.
Yeah, I do not claim to be a special effects expert. I can just I can tell you some basic concepts about how to do
the basics.
The basics. And I mean, even this, like, I'm just showing you some tools within Premiere because, like, honestly, that's kind of, again, my level. Like, you know, if you really want to get deeper into this stuff, like using After Effects with Premiere is probably the more it's like a higher level way to go with this, but you know, like I do like that you can actually accomplish a lot just all within Premiere.
Yeah.
So just to go over this little bit again, whenever you want to add effects to something, you have to click up here kind of at the top where my little cursor is in the effects, and it opens this menu on the side. all of the
I don't see it.
color. Oh, can you see it, Aisha?
Wait, there, I got it. I think I see it. I see it now.
Here. So when you click on this, oh wait, no, because we already did it.
Yeah.
It opens this side window, and then this keying folder, like in the video effects, like obviously there's audio effects, audio transitions, video effects, video transitions, but the effects are what we're looking at right now. There's all these like different categories of video effects that you can use, but right now we're just concentrating on the chroma keying or the keying kind of folder. And honestly, like a lot of these do the same thing. They're just different types. And I was telling Zen that I use mostly the color key on this video, but there's the tutorial that I included in the like lesson plan talks about ultra keys. So I just kind of curious about that one. So you drag it actually onto the video clip. So see where my playhead is here on this clip of LC. I dragged the keying effect right on top of the video. And then when you're up here, oops, what did I do? There you go. So in this panel over here is your source window. So, and this is your program window, which shows what's down here.
I'm about to start all over again. I don't even remember all these screens, like what you're showing. I don't even know how to get through first. I haven't done that.
Did you learn on a Final Cut though?
No.
You learned on Premiere?
No, I haven't learned any of this. Like even how you're even on this screen, like with all this stuff showing. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
We can go back and do like a basic like how to open it up.
Crash course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of the times when we work in Digital Dev, I'll actually load everything into the project and then just have like all you'll kind of need to do is be able to open up the project file. But that's definitely a good thing to know. I think, Zen, would that be interesting to you too, to like do actual like basic overview of some of that stuff? I mean, I feel like
Of course.
Okay.
I never mind refreshing.
Okay, yeah.
Learning things multiple times.
I have a question too, because like this is one thing that like means everything to me in the film, like whether I watch it or not, like the color scheme, you know, like the difference between maybe like a drama and a comedy, you know, like the way the screen comes out, the color and everything. Is that done in this part too? Like, you know, like you could tell an independent film from a like a full film.
That is more.
Is that done in this part too? How you do that?
That's more in the realm
so,
of this. This is called color correction. I think if what you're talking about is like, I want it to look a little more cool, or I want it to look a little more like, I want the blacks to be darker, or things like that. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, like you can tell like when, like, you know, you can tell like when it's like a cheap film kind of, you can tell like by the screen you're looking at it.
Low budget.
Yeah, low budget, you can tell.
Well, one thing I'll say about that is it's probably like
Kristen, you have frozen for like a minute now.
Am I frozen also for you, Zen?
And I can't hear you now anymore. Zen is clear, but you're not. Like, I can't.
Am I? Yeah, am I? Okay. It was breaking up a bit, yes.
Okay.
But you're still frozen on my side.
Can you hear me though?
Something happened. I don't know.
I'm gonna turn off.
I can hear you, I guess, and I guess I'll just listen to him.
Wait, here you can look at a picture of me and my baby. I'll turn off the video from
little nugget.
Yeah, that's my little nugs.
Hmm.
Years ago already. Yeah. So, what I think what you're, I guess.
Why would it be cutting off? Because now your voice is cutting. Wait, no, hold on. Your voice is cutting off too.
Oh.
Now I don't see anything. Okay.
How about now? Can you still see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Wait, your screen is black now. I can hear you, but you go like on and off. Okay, now I can see you now again.
And then because honestly, you don't need to see me, but like, can you see my screen?
How would you fix that?
Have better internet, I guess.
It's getting better, so it could have just been like a Wi-Fi.
But I'm like, could I fix that on my end?
I don't know. I think we just kind of got to wait it out when it gets like that.
All right. But yeah, like when could that be because of like money? Do you have to pay a lot of money for your film to look like really good?
Well, I was going to say,
like for that part with the color scheme.
I mean, I think it's with the color scheme stuff, you know, you have to make sure that your camera is of a certain quality, and then that the person who's filming it knows how to get the most out of the camera that they're using. Like a lot of people shoot in low light situations that will make your films look ugly. You know, and if you're,
oh man,
if you're,
again.
Well, can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it goes on and off. When you're talking, it gets slow. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. But yeah, I was saying, so I mean,
It's so weird because when you talk slow, it's like breaking up. But when you talk fast, it's like fine.
Okay, so I guess I just need to talk really fast all the time. So basically what I was saying is that, jailbreak. You know, you need to have your camera, the camera be good, and the person filming your stuff know how to record an image properly. Otherwise, you know, you're kind of dead in the water at that point. And then, so it really does start with, you know, being able to record at the highest quality that you can. And then, you know, in post, you can play with the color after. But, you know, in post, there's only so much you can do if you haven't recorded your images properly. That's why, I mean, a DP is a really, or your camera person is, you know, a really essential part of your team. And it's better to record something, you know, clean and nicely, rather than maybe putting a whole bunch of effects or doing something crazy in camera. You can do that later. Does that answer your question? Anyway, so to go to this little ultra key thing. So once you have applied the filter onto your clip, you'll have this on your source window side. So I mean, just a super basic overview of the parts of Premiere. This window on your left-hand side is your source window, which is the clip that you're, you know, your original footage that you're dealing with. The image on your right-hand side over here is the program window, and it shows what's on your timeline. And then this is your media browser, which just shows everything that you have available to you. So you have when you have your clip in the timeline, you click on it, you apply your effects filter, and then you get this little tab up here. Click on it, and this is how you basically define all the parameters of the effect that you're using. And you can use multiple effects at once. So you could have, you know, 10 effects on this one clip doing different things, and you can layer them all on each other. But so the first step, you know, in keying or compositing images together is you know, you've already decided what color you're using for your key color, which is green in this case. So you pick this little eyedropper guy right here, and then you just kind of go over to the image and you kind of select the eyedropper. And then kind of right away you can see, actually I'm gonna put something under here just to see a little easier. Because right now, you know, you saw all the green disappeared and it's black, and that's because there's not actually another image underneath. And the default image is black. So I'm gonna.
With this right now, with everything that you're saying, like, could I come back and watch this later if I wanted to, or no?
Yeah, I'm recording it, so I'll
Because it's like messed
Yeah,
up.
it's
so
recording.
Like,
oh yeah, and which I should, as long as you're fine with that, I'm recording it so that folks who weren't able to be here, or anybody who is here can just rewatch it. So yeah, what I did right now is I clicked on, you know, I looked in the media browser over here on the bottom left-hand corner, and I just pulled up this picture of a chameleon, and I'm gonna layer that one underneath. Oh, first I'm gonna move this away. Ah, no. Move that away. And then, and you know, layers in.
Yeah, it's still breaking up a bit. That really sucks.
Okay.
Okay, cool. There it goes.
Back. Okay. So what I did was basically just layer this chameleon footage. Oh, this is the video. Oops. I picked a bad example. This one. Oh, I'm gonna pick. This. I'm gonna pick this baby chameleon. And so I'm just gonna put it underneath.
So cute.
Yeah. So now you can kind of see that baby chameleon under there. I actually don't. I'm gonna get something better because that is not a great example. There. This is the one with all the good stuff. So I'm gonna get this one. This rainbow chameleon. So yeah.
Old, new,
Set.
likely or
Oh. This is reminding me how much stuff there is to do with this. So, like for this image, which it does appear in the video, it's in several places. Like, you know, so I can show you some other ways to like modify footage. So I slowed this piece of footage down, which to do that, you click on it and then you right click on it and then go to the speed duration, and then you can, you know, increase the duration of the clip to, you can either do it by speed and percentage, or you can do it by duration of the clip. So like if you know like, oh, I need this clip to be 25 seconds long, you can set it here. That's usually how I prefer to do it. So that's what I'll do here. And you have to put in 25 and then the seconds, and then you have to put in 2 zeros after, because those are the frames. So this is 25 seconds and 0 frames. Or if you wanted to do like 25.5 seconds, you could do like 25 and 15, because there's, in this system, there's 30 frames a second instead of 24. This is also where you can reverse clips if you ever want to like, you know, show somebody's hat, you know, going back onto their head or whatever you might want to do, like effects wise with reverse stuff. So then you just hit yeah, and then it made the little clip longer. So now you can see, you know, it's in there, but there's some, so we've eliminated some of the green that's in, and his hair, you know, because it has, let me go back to his clip, and then you can like go here and you can actually forget how you turn it off and on. I am spacing at the moment on how you turn this off and on, but you know, you can see that that some of the green is gone, but there's still actually a lot that you can do in terms of cleaning this up a little bit. So I think that's orange. Yeah. So that's the first step basically, is you go in and you select the color that you want to focus your matte on. Oh, I think Zen got frozen. Then up here in output.
Yeah, I got frozen. And just to let you guys know, if you see me laying back, it's just because I'm trying to, my chest feels weird, so I'm trying to get in a good, comfy position, not slacking on you guys.
Okay, all right. Oh, I hope. That's a bad symptoms, Zen.
I know I'm trying to figure out in my head what to do at this moment, but I think, I don't know. It's gonna hang in there.
Okay.
Okay, Kristen, is not working for me on this side. It's okay if I watch it back later when you send it, because like everything is out of place on my side.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's a signal, but everything is mixed up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because it might be.
And I can't hear you or anything.
Yeah, it might actually be clearer than when you watch it back.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe
technology. So weird.
Yeah, it's like, it's wonderful,
right.
but it's also not.
I'll see it tonight. Watch
Okay,
it over
well,
again.
I'll send the link out, and then yeah, it'll probably be easier for you to watch it back. I mean, and
I was
maybe
gonna say something, but I don't want to be superstitious. I'm like, what if they're slowing us down to make us do the 5G crap?
Yeah, I think it's probably just that everybody's watching Netflix in the world. Oh, okay. Aisha is gone. I actually think.
Yeah, you know what? It could be that.
It's funny though, I'm looking at this Ultra Key. I actually don't think I like this one as much as the other one, but that might be because I'm kind of basic. This version of the key filter, you know, you can do the alpha channel, which basically,
yeah,
the ideal situation is that like,
yeah,
this alpha channel like represents everything that is, the black represents everything that you're seeing through. So then you kind of use these other numbers down here. So using this more, I guess, sophisticated approach, and then I'll go through my kind of like quick and dirty, like more basic version. This is the version that's like covered in that tutorial, and he's definitely like a guy who knows a little bit more about color correction than me. But the concept is that this alpha channel shows you in black everything that's fully being shown through. So then you can kind of use all of these numbers down here, like this saturation, to modify like how much of the green, is like incorporated into your selection of what your matte is. So yeah, I don't know. I've gone through this with you, and that's cool. Hi, Dad. How are you? Hi. You drinking milk? Good to see you. You want to say hi to Zen? You want to watch me do chroma key? Okay, so we did that, and that was cool. But let's try and do what I think is a more user-friendly version, which is this color key. The same thing, you put it on there. Yeah, I guess this just has like less variables, but they're a little more, hi kitty. They're a little, yeah, it's just a little more user-friendly. You know, if you're not gonna like really get deep into chroma keying, you can just use this. So I selected, again, and this is, you know, it shows you the color that you sampled, which is this bright green. Hey babe, you wanna come up? There you go. Here, no, you cannot touch that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this has 3 sliders, and the color tolerance is kind of the main one. And see, I think that just like is so much easier to do than the ultra key. But I think the ultra key might be, you know, a little more fine-tuned and a little more professional. But I think, you know, the green that we're using is, in this case, is, I think, well-defined enough that we can get away with this. And I, you know, I was kind of going for like a little bit of a lo-fi like look anyway. So yeah, I think this color tolerance, you know, you can kind of just play with it and see like what's the image that you like. And like to me, one thing that I like up here in the corner, in the upper left-hand corner of the actual image in the program window, like that's one thing that I would want to avoid, you know, is like leading into the background. But I think anything, and like I actually kind of liked when like his eyebrows were coming through, like I thought that was kind of cool. But I mean, this is all just, it's a music video, so you're not trying to actually do anything.
But is there no way to cut that off the side?
There is a way to cut that off the side. Like, so if you really super wanted it, like Elsie's face to look like this, say, you know, you wanted it to be like all in through his beard and in through his eyebrows, what you would have to do then is use a second matte, that would basically limit.
Maka. Here. Come on.
I'll see you pretty soon, okay?
It's dinner time.
Oh, dinner time. Yeah, and then just to go through these other little sliders that are kind of useful, but you can basically the thin, it kind of like makes an edge around the perimeter of what you've defined in your color tolerance. So it's almost like, imagine if you had a font that you were and you actually made a border around like the A. It's like, in this case, it's making a border around the image that you've selected in your chroma key. And then the feather, so that one can be useful, but honestly, it's kind of like, usually I don't mess with that one too much. But again, with this kind of stuff, you just kind of like look at it and see if you like the way it looks. And the feather, that one's probably the most useful. That like softens the edge, right? So you can see that pretty clearly. where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it just blends it a little bit more. But so you were asking, you know, if you wanted it to look like this, but you don't want this kind of ugly bleed on the side, you have to go back in, and let me see if I remember how to do this. There's a mat that you use, which actually maybe you can just do like this. So I forget if this is negative or positive, so we'll just kind of try it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you just go through, you know, actually, yeah, so you can, and that's cool that you can go beyond the border of the image. So, come on, guy, do it. I guess I couldn't go that far. Come on, dude.
If it doesn't, it you know, it's fine. I was just curious, but we can definitely stick to the
Yeah, no,
color scheme.
I think I'm just not like very adept at the masking, but this is how you do it. I just can't remember.
I mean, I think it's really cool how yeah.
Oh, so it's inverse. So what that did is basically selected this and said like that's what we want, but we actually want the opposite. There probably is a way to invert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, inverted. Can I do it? No. Okay, well, so what I'm going to do then is delete that mask and start again. And this mask is actually easier to draw. So yeah, you're basically just like, okay, I only want like, and if you even wanted to like leave out Elsie's shirt, you know, I mean, this is a little harder though because he's moving around, but.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you wanted
That's
to,
more,
you know, you'd have to like start, then at that point it gets to like rotoscoping and stuff. But see, so you basically
exactly. Mm-hmm.
selected that and then, you know, and now since you did all that, see, so then you'll have to track it and expand like, so this, but then once you have your mask done, you can kind of like move these points. So you can move that back, you know, so you could do this and that'll probably make it work pretty much. So, you know, you kind of have to start, at this point, you have to start like playing with it. So yeah, like at this point, you're like, okay, well, this is maybe the farthest motion of his head. And you got to adjust the mask like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just start.
Yeah.
Then it gets into like fine tuning and whatever. But that's kind of like the quick and dirty version of like, of how you would do that. And yeah, I do think now that I've really gone through that ultra key versus the color key, I think the color key is just so much easier to get the result, you know, like a quick result that's like good enough. I mean, I think the more professional way to do it is, yeah, examining what the alpha channel looks like and getting it super clean. But, you know, ultimately it's like what looks the way you want it to look, or how getting it to look the way you want it to look, basically. So it seems like the color key tool is much easier.
Yeah.
Especially for something like this, which is like, you know, not quite the perfect background
color background. Yeah.
So do you have any questions, I guess, about that piece of things?
When you chose the media or the content from the the media column, and you put it and you layered it, you know, in the editing section, where did you put it? Is it the one with that's selected, right? The one selected white?
This so it works kind of like how like imagine that you're looking down on top, like if your eye, if this was a piece of, if these were pieces of paper, you're like
Oh yeah, yeah,
this way. So like
yeah.
Elsie's, this is actually Elsie's image, and then this is the chameleon.
Okay.
So like if we turn off that layer, then you know the stuff inside his hair disappears because that's the chameleon. And then if we turn on this layer, you'll just see the chameleon that's underneath.
Yeah.
And so
I remember you describing it like that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you know, it'll, I mean, especially when you're working on something like this, you know, you start getting layers like with this, you start getting a lot of layers. So, you know, that's definitely a good thing to always.
That's a great way to put it mentally.
Yeah. And to be mindful of like, if you're ever confused about like, oh, what layer is which, you can always just like turn things on and off over here, you know. The only bad thing about that is like, say with this, you know, see how there's this red line right here? That means it's unrendered. So like when you play it back, it's like
CHOOD, $5 sub on the.
It's like gonna be laggy. So you have to like render it. Which I'll render this because hopefully it's relatively short. No, it's not going to be. My computer at home is not the best. Oh man, I'm going to start copying tuna. But anyway, that's all that to say. If you render stuff and then you turn stuff on and off, then it'll become unrendered. That's just one thing to keep in mind. But also like, see how like when I turn this layer off, it actually became rendered.
Oh yeah, because it'll mess up how it's, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but so if you turn off your layers that have the rendering though, because like when I turn off the layer with LC, it actually becomes rendered. That's because like the unrendered stuff is on his layer, if that makes sense. Hey, it's Aspen.
Nope, it makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know where we were on that. You said you had questions. I think, well, I guess your question was, you know, could we mat out that side, which we did in a functional way. So, what else, I guess, could we go over? So, because I think I was going to say that a couple of the other effects, I was just going to maybe show a couple of the other effects that we did, or that on this. I did use some like color swaps. Like on this, I think, or just like there's an image here that I used where I took this chameleon and because what I was trying to do was actually kind of like key out the chameleon and then put like, see if I can put like Elsie's face in it or something stupid like that. But so what I did, oh, and this is a good, I guess, idea to demonstrate. So what I did is I put the color key on the chameleon, and then hello. What is that? Okay. So I guess, yeah, I definitely took this part, delete the audio. And I guess just one thing that I wanted to show just to make it like super obvious. It's like when you select like this brown, and then you can turn up the color tolerance, and then you can like, you know, so you can obviously try to eliminate any color you want, you know, if it's blue or red or pink, which is something I was like experimenting a little bit with some of the chameleons. I was like, oh, but so what I did with this one, I was like, oh, okay, let's see what we can do with like trying to make the chameleon disappear. Which was sort of, and this is kind of interesting because then you can look and see by like selecting which greens, like which parts of the chameleon it'll eliminate, you know, so if you get like these more like white greens, you know, where it is, or if it's like these more middle greens, you know. So that's kind of what I did. And then I think I put just like a color mat underneath it. So I mean, this is a good kind of basic thing to go over too, which, if I can remember where it is. Utility. Generate. All right, I'm gonna look. Okay. So I guess it's this set map.
Is it called color map?
That's what it's called in like Final Cut.
Oh, no.
That's why I'm like, oh, I don't know how it's. Let me see.
Oh, there it is. Maybe.
Yeah, this is, I don't use map for green channel. Yeah, I don't know what the heck that is actually. Okay. Image mat key. Let's try this one. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't remember how to do this. Like just make a plain color background, basically. That's all I'm trying to do. Essential graphics. Ugh. Well, that's embarrassing. Well, maybe let me come back to that because that's all I really did. Like on the sides of the video, and see if I had the original. That's why I was like, oh, it'll be easy. I can just have the original file, and you can see all the layers that I did. You know.
Yeah.
Because like this green on the edge is just two mats that I put on the side. I kind of like, and that was like a little bit of a solution to like not have to deal with this, with matting off the sides of the image from the chroma key. And also I just kind of like square aspect ratio. I just like it. So that's how I feel about it. And then these two images of the chameleon, I basically made it monotone.
Yeah.
Like, so I turned it black and white and just used a color replace to make it a single chroma thing.
That's cool.
So yeah, I don't know. That's fine. But so there's a bunch of things that you can do, just layering stuff on top of each other. And that's because that's all this is really, just layering images and opacity on top of each other.